restless. I pace like a panther in a cage. I twitch at shadow prey, like a spider clinging to its web in the fitful winds that herald a storm. I long for the weight of steel about my shoulders, and a good blade singing to the bones of my mortal anchor. My soul starves for freedom from the flesh of this reality, slow and static, clay that is stiffened until it can no longer be sculpted at will. I wait for the storm that I sense over some rapidly nearing event horizon, yet I cannot see what it might bring. I rear and kick at the boards of my stall like a stallion with the stench of war in my nostrils. Remaining a grey man in man's grey world tires me greatly. What a dismally overcast existence it can be at times. What pleasures are passed over by eyes made of meat. What songs are not heard by ears of bone and blood. I would see this wondrous being known as Earth in its glorious entirety, but for this body I must drag around. Still, as much as I might piss and moan about it, there's not much that can be done. The body comes with the job, you see. It's my cover. I just wish it was easier to get a replacement spine. My back is killing me today. Look into the eyes of those around you. Do they drop their gaze in fear or look away in apathy? Do they look back with piercing glances that break through your masks and reach into your core? Do you know them? Yes. Yes, you do. It's true. A twinkle of gauzy recollection darkens your thoughts, like a scrap of high cloud momentarily scarring the face of the moon. Your stare is drawing to rest upon them again and again. They look like you, they look like me. They don strange hats or shiver huddled in corners to cut the impersonal teeth of a February wind. They beg and borrow to satisfy a mind fooled into thinking it can die. They work at McJobs and try not to starve so they have time to speak through their art. Some recall, some do not. Some will find themselves before the shell their ghosts shelter in begins to rot. Others will not. Some are here to learn a lesson. Others are here to teach them. Some will ask you questions, and some will smile slowly with secret solutions to ancient riddles. Those who see through the lie of their own reflections leave only tenuous traces. Clues like the softening memories of footprints disappearing under a chill shroud of snow. Castles in the sand, they inhabit human bodies and depart without fanfare, save for the hiss and rumble of tide-driven waves. They are the ones smiling amidst chaos and catastrophes in motion, while most panic, fleeing in pointless denial of inevitability of constant change. They are the avatars of entropy, the catalysts of evolution through knowledge and the death of the egoic mind. Not all human lives are lived by human souls. Beware and beware and be aware. Stop looking with your eyes. I don't know when it happened. I don't know when the past became nothing but a jumble of memories that didn't make any sense. I don't know what it first was that began to wake me up. Things just didn't make any sense. Time was broken. Perception never seemed to be the same. I close my eyes, and when they open, I'm somewhere else. I'm someone else. I'm something else. I stop long enough to try and gain my ground, to find footing. Yet the longer I stand, the more I stay still, the harder it is to maintain consistent perspective. I try and think back, but there's nothing there. There is only now, and there is only here. But I do not know where here is. I run towards some sort of end, some sort of escape. But every door, every passage, every moment simply leads to some other madness. Sometimes this world looks like the world I came from. Sometimes I feel like the being I came from. Sometimes it feels as though a mere second contains centuries, and centuries flash past in a second. Sometimes I find infinity in the blink of an eye. Sometimes, in my desperation, I do anything to try and remove myself from this strange dreamscape that I seem trapped in. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many doors I go through. It doesn't matter there's nothing left but to keep moving forward. Try every door, walk every road. see cities of starlight. I see stars close enough I can touch them. And yet, I can never reach them. If I close my eyes for too long, it feels like I'm swimming, like my body floats and reality is too thick to move. Strangest of all are the people I miss, though I can't remember their names or their faces. I feel their shapes, the empty holes they've left inside me by their absence. I miss the smell of snow, starlight. I miss... Sometimes, when I close my eyes, it feels like I'm falling. I want to keep them closed. Something tells me to keep them closed, but I can't. I start falling faster and faster, until fear forces my eyes open. Then I see flashes of things that I thought I'd forgotten. I am adrift in a strange place, but I will find a way out. I will find myself again. I can't feel my body anymore. It's just gone. And I realized that it was my body that kept me anchored in whatever world I came from before this place. It was my interaction through that thing that kept my perspective consistent and going in one direction. In this world, I didn't have the weight of my form to hold me down. I didn't have the material brain to lock my consciousness in one place and one time. It was as though the memories in the mind I'd once had, the memories of the place I'd once lived, were trapped inside a house with no doors, no windows, no escape. And yet I knew somehow I might reach them. Someday. Like shards of broken mirror, each a piece of my reflection, held together in a jumble by a worn-out paper bag, ready to tear open at any moment. And when my thoughts turn inwards, then this world becomes distant and ethereal, a cloud, a memory, burning away in sunlight while I walk within it. There are things within it. Things like in the other world I came from. There seems to be people. And yet, I look at things in the distance. And if I look too long, my perception fragments. And suddenly, I find myself there. I sat on a street corner for a very long time in this world, and the people and the little things within it shifted and changed, like shadows, ghosts. But the world stayed the same, though my perspective was broken and erratic. I dug the ghosts of my own fingers into the concrete beneath me like sand, and stayed there for what seemed like eons, waiting for this world to fade away. But it didn't. It stayed. What world was it I was perceiving? A stranger in a crowd exists without being. A soul once known exists without being seen. Strange phrases bubble up through what's left of my mind to tickle at my recollection. I don't know where they come from. Some deep place. I've tried swimming as far as I can swim. I don't seem to need to breathe. I've ridden the train for hours and hours and done nothing but gone in circles. The roads lead nowhere but back onto themselves again. And I find myself passing the same tired streetlights over and over. I followed rivers to the sea and traveled until I could no longer see the land. And yet, nothing ever came over the horizon. I tried delving underground, to no avail. No matter which direction I went and how hard I tried, no matter how many bridges to nowhere I crossed, I always returned here. But the horizon never got any closer. The clouds only grew and grew, and I could never see what was beyond them, till eventually darkness came. Was I in hell? Was this some sort of strange, empty purgatory? A hell of nothing. No pain, no sensation, no death, no change. If I had no form to hold me, why was I trapped here? I even tried dying. That didn't work. No more than blinking could transform you. No more than sleeping and awaking can take you to a different world. I remained, though the world might change around me. Though its bones always stayed the same. I am the ghost of a being, trapped in a memory of a world filled with nothing but reflections. But yet, I am. I exist. But where am I? There are no other minds here but my own. The people I see are mere shadows that disappear when I no longer pay them mind. The things that pass me, the cars that drive down the road, are just the passing thoughts that haunt my mind when I'm not guiding it. I pay them no mind, and they too slowly disappear into the esperous nothing of this shadow world. But my mind is the only mind here. And when I silence my mind, here disappears and falls apart. When I forget about this world, it too burns away in the sun, like puddles from a storm long past. And when I forget about this world and remember somewhere else, I find myself there. I need to silence my mind, and I know only one way to do that, and that's good music, a good road, and the buttery rumble of a V8. For a moment, I'm a little sad to leave this world where there is no pain, where there is no damage done, where one can do this without worry. And an old memory digs at the back of my mind. It's an old memory of being shackled in weight and sorrow in a way, something. But here sometimes I'd smile, and it felt good to smile. It felt like seeing an old friend. But there was something unfinished in this other place I was always trying to get to. I needed to finish something before I could let go of that weight, before I could free myself of the burden that I'd almost forgotten. There's nothing left but to keep moving forward. Try every door. form wrap itself around me again, and my mind shook and quivered at the thought of being wrapped in meat again. But in the end, it's what needed to be done. Sometimes it feels like I wake up with a head full of muddy footprints, ideas and thoughts and pieces of dream cluttering around my ankles. Sometimes these dreams haunt me for days as I try to remember, because it seems like I've lived lifetimes. Sometimes I'm not so sure I wanted to wake up in the first place, because for some reason those places felt like they contained more mysteries than the world I usually wake up in.
Running